I am going to introduce our first guest in the Hive tonight. I said he is the king of swing. We don't need Michael Bublé anymore because here in Manchester, we have our very own Mr. Paul Pashley. And he's in the Hive. Hello, Paul.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing a lot better now that I'm seeing you because I love your swing. I love your voice. And to get you in the Hive to talk about what you do, I think is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. No, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. You know, it's just really nice to talk to anybody other than four walls.
Now, you're not a Mancunian. You're an adopted Mancunian because you live in posh Cheshire. But you're from Sheffield, aren't you? You're a lad from Sheffield. How did swing come into your life then?
Well, I trained as an actor in Sheffield. I did like a BTEC, like many people, just a diploma. And I always sang a little bit, but my voice was always quite low. So I used to grow up listening to various singers that I used to listen to Michael Jackson and stuff like that. I used to love all that, but I couldn't get anywhere near it. And then my granddad played some stuff. I'm sure it was my granddad, actually. I know this old story always goes, it's your granddad, but somebody played me this music, and swing was just like very... I don't know, I found it dead cool, dead chilled, and from that I decided to sing little bits of it, and I went to university in Manchester. I trained as an actor and I went on the road, and from being on the road I was seen by a musician who heard me sing some stuff and put me into a big band. So I'd like sort of done my training and always been able to sing, but not really done that much in regards to performing that sort of genre of music. But I ended up in a big band and then ended up with my own bands. They're a bit smaller these days, but still trying to keep it contemporary.
And what is that like? Because you've got pop stars and they sing to kind of backing tracks a lot that we hear, but when you've got a band, that must feel something really special.
Yeah, I mean, I have my full band 6-piece because I realized very quick, we're still being quite young, that the fact of this genre of music, people don't afford big bands anymore. They're very rare unless you're at a park or if you're in a proms night or watching somebody like Bublé, or you're not going to get a big band. So I decided to make a very cool, tight knitted 6-piece band which sound great, because the arrangements have been done specifically for that size band, so you can take it out. You can do a concert with it, or you can do a party with it, or you can do a launch with it, or you can do a branded event with it. And I just was just tweaking that band. Like every singer, I still go out with tracks if I have to, because sometimes the budgets and the things aren't always there for a band. The size of the room, for example, is not always there. So
but it sounds brilliant when you all get together. It's fab. And you mentioned there it's very cool. I think as well, you're what they call a contemporary crooner, aren't you? So again, you bring a bit of coolness to it, because when people think swing, you think kind of like I said before, Bublé, a little bit sometimes of like the Sinatra kind of thing going on, and also Harry Connick Jr. But I've seen you do Watermelon Sugar, Harry Styles. I mean, come on, that is a bit of a mix-up, isn't it?
Well, basically, I had a really good conversation with a couple of my musicians who tour with big bands still, pre-coronavirus. But what happened with the coronavirus is, through the pandemic, a lot of the older generation, which this genre often associated with. Sorry, there were dogs. I do apologise. Yeah, sorry.
It's fine.
They're not in the band.
I have dogs. You know what it's like.
They're not in the band. So basically, pre-pandemic, a lot of people was deciding. Come here. A lot of people was deciding to maybe stay in, or after the pandemic, they don't want to go out. And I said to my MD the other week, listen, this needs to develop. This genre is going to get lost either in Christmas or in a generation, and unless you make it youthful. So I said, right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do Shape of You. We're going to do a bit of Drake. We're going to do Watermelon Sugar. We're going to look at how we make it swing. And we did something on Saturday. We did Giant Rag and Bone Man with the horns, da, 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 and the audience just went mad for it. Just because of the horns. Because I think what gets lost a little bit now is this organic feel of live music, which seems to be a laptop. They don't see musicians on stage anymore, which is really sad.
Well, talking about being on stage, and you said on Saturday you were performing. You've been performing at Blackpool's North Pier. Now that is legendary. I mean, you've had great stars perform on the North Pier. What is that like, seeing your name on the billboard? Because it is quite iconic, isn't it?
You know what? It's a little bit surreal, to be honest. When I first started singing with this band that I told you I toured with, he did a show on Blackpool North Pier in the theatre, and it was really interesting to see all the old legends like your Jimmy Tarbuck pictures and Russ Abbott and things like that. And actually, on Saturday, I was in the dressing room, and the guy that does it all said, "Oh, this is Russ Abbott's dressing room. He was in here for years." And you start thinking, "Oh my God," You don't realise it's strange because you see the poster and you see things and you see your name and the show that you've come up with. I'm a little bit sort of, I suppose, a workaholic. So I've got to a point of I see it and it's like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then I'm on to like I've got to do this now to make sure that works. And then I've got to, if it doesn't work. And so you're always on to the next thing, because if you just stay and look at it and think, oh well, it better be good now. we better make it work. So
do you reckon it'll be in a couple of months then that you pinch yourself and go, do you know what? I did that. Yeah, I was on that pier. I was in that dressing room.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Michelle, what sort of like freaked me out a little bit is my Facebook used to flash up and tell me what I'd done a year ago or what I'd done 5 years ago, and I go, oh my God, I can't remember doing it. Oh yeah, I did that. Oh wow, that's great. Because every weekend's different. So yeah. I mean, this pandemic we've been through, when things start to happen again, it was like a baptism of fire. So I was out with the band for the first week after not seeing them for a year. We turned up at this venue at 6 o'clock, which is on the contract to turn up and sound check. And she went, oh my God, you're on stage. It's like, well, no, he said, oh yeah, we got the contract wrong. Can you do something? So within 5 minutes, I'm stood on stage with the band that we haven't seen each other or done anything for a year. And we're going, right, okay. And people, I think, it's just like, and then you're on that roller coaster again. So then next week you've got another 3 or 4 gigs coming in, and you're going out, with a band, and then you're doing a bespoke event, or you're doing something for a company, or you're doing a wedding, or everything's a different sort of challenge, and then you don't realise that, oh, that's a month.
But I mean, yeah, that whole time must have been really surreal. But you're a pro. I mean, come on. You've been doing this for so many years and you've sung for the most amazing people. Let's take you back to kind of the early days, because you went on tour with Manchester United doing entertainment, kind of like on their tour, going across the world with them. That must have been crazy.
Yeah, well, I'd already done stuff for Sir Alex and something for Wayne, and a couple of things for Rooney, and a couple of things for the footballers, private things. And then I was performing somewhere, and I was seen by one of the directors at Man United, dead lovely, a class as a good friend of mine now. And she said, right, okay, I want to come in and have a meeting about performing in the ambassadors, which is like one of the top suites at United, pre-post game, and then coming away every European game, traveling with the team on the plane and entertaining the VIPs and our sponsors and making them feel good. And then the World Conferences in Hong Kong, Los Angeles, I want to do all that. So for 6 years pre-pandemic, I was literally when I wasn't flying all over the place, I was going and doing corporate events, getting in a car, driving somewhere, going somewhere else, or getting on a plane and getting back in time, and literally living by, I still, this pandemic, I started looking for a property because I'd never owned a property. I still haven't got one at the minute, but that's people go, oh my God, you still haven't got a property. But I was not really there to enjoy a property. Obviously my girlfriend's got her own place, which is great. I love being there. And then my parents have got their own place. But when I got any time, I'm at Rebecca's, or, I'd go and see my parents, or I'll see my friends. I've not got any time to sort of like get somewhere. And also, where do I get it? Because I don't know where I am. I've lost you. I can't hear. Can you hear me? Hang on.
I said Vegas. I know where you need to get placed. Vegas, because you know what? A residency in Vegas, that must be the dream.
Yeah, you know what? I think I've been to Vegas a couple of times, and with this genre of music, I think it fits. I think that this show that I've come up with, this Swings of 21st Century thing, fits a great mold in regards to one of the great things about it. You said watermelon sugar is it appeals to 25 all the way up to 105. When I first did my version of a Bet Look Good on the Dance Floor, it opened my eyes because what happened was I got 70, 80-year-olds tapping the feet going, oh, I like this, because they can recognize the music. And I got 20, 25-year-olds going, I know this one. So now when we drop in Bad Guy by Billie Eilish, or we drop in, I don't know, Dance Floor or Human or something like that, it's interesting to see different generations of people react.
Yeah.
So I know that by seeing that, it's still there. What annoys me a little bit is in this genre, it's either personified as a bit cheesy. I don't like that cheese side of it all, or a bit Christmassy, which is great, but you know, I think commercially it's got a great appeal. It just needs to be reinvented a little bit, maybe.
Well, you're doing 21st century swing. I've got that right, haven't I? You're doing that in
Blackpool. 21st century thing, yeah. It's the same. Swing's a 21st century thing. It's the same sort of thing, yeah.
And then you're at, closer to home near me, you're at Tatton Park Pop-Up Festival on Sunday doing Jazz Sundays. Now, are we going to see a little bit of what you've been doing in Blackpool? So some of that contemporary stuff, is that going to be on the show on Sunday?
Absolutely. I think, you're going to get everything from the standards, what you'd expect. You're going to get everything from some of the music that you would expect people to sing of this genre. Your Cullums, your Gregory Porters, a little bit of Liquid Spirit, things like that. You're going to get your old stuff, you're going to get your new stuff, and you're going to get a couple of originals as well. So we're going to make it, something that's there, something that's right for everybody. So everybody goes home and has a good time. I like to do things now where people expect something and they get it, but then they get other stuff that they don't expect, and they go away going, "Oh, I didn't know, I didn't know you did that, or I didn't know you had a couple of originals. Oh, wow!" And I really like. And they tend to walk away liking the stuff that they didn't expect. So they think they're going to go and like what they've seen before, which is great. But to be quite honest, Michelle, when I started singing this, after 8 years of singing Come Fly With Me, I was like,
Oh, that's Amore?
Yeah. And listen, I mean, don't get me wrong, right? For instance, I did an event and you go through all your repertoire and Impossible Dream and all this stuff, and it goes great. And this goes, Sweet Caroline. And that's the song that people go, oh, right. So there are favourites, obviously favourites that you have to put in.
Was it Gareth Southgate that requested Sweet Caroline?
I think so, yeah, probably. I mean, Neil Diamond's probably loving it, isn't he, at the minute? He's going to go comeback tour, surely.
I know, madness, absolute madness. But not only have you kind of like performed all across the world, you performed on a very little known programme called The Voice UK. Yeah. When was that, Paul?
How? It was great. It was interesting because it was the last year of the BBC. I really enjoyed it. The process was obviously a lot different to what I've ever done before because it was TV. It wasn't like being in an audience as such. You're on. It's very quiet. Click, 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 go. For me, I think everything's an experience. It was the year when Tom Jones wasn't on it, and I didn't know that. And for me, Tom Jones is just like. In fact, me and Rebecca took a little boy to see The Voice on the other side of it in the audience side when Jennifer Hudson and Tom Jones was on it, and somebody in the audience shouted for them to sing. Now, when you're backstage, you never see all of this audience stuff that goes on with the celebs, which is really, really good. But I mean, Jennifer Hudson stood up, and it was just like, oh my God, absolutely, like bang. Tom Jones, bang. And you just think Tom Jones was like touching 80, I think, at that time.
I know, and he still sounds incredible, and he's still touring.
Yeah. I mean, we went to see him. Actually, we went to see him at Tatton Park. Tatton Park had Tom Jones a couple of years ago, and we went to see him, and he was incredible, absolutely incredible. But you talk about Sweet Caroline and these iconic songs. I mean, Tom Jones must be fed up of singing Delilah. Because he's 80 and old,
Well, it's made him a lot of money, Paul. It's made him a lot of money.
I bet he's not complaining.
Hey, with The Voice, though, I mean, you'd already been and performed with Will.i.am. Was that before or after The Voice?
That was quite interesting. Was it? Yeah, because what happened with that is I did The Voice, and basically I was like going out as one of the last people in the green room, and I was going out at 10:30 at night, and I was absolutely knackered. I'm not making excuses. And I was just like, it's going to be great, but I just want to get it done now. Anyway, I went out, and the judges were basically saying that they more or less filled the teams up. They really liked what I did, but they'd already got that boxed off. They got that boxed off. And Will.i.am said, your voice is great. And, paid me some really nice compliments. As did Paloma Faye. She was lovely. And Ricky from the Kaiser Chiefs, he was a great guy. Really, really nice people. Lovely, absolutely lovely. But I walked away. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I was starting to get work with really well-known companies. I'd done something for Rolls-Royce. I'd started doing a lot for Man United. And then I got asked to do The Voice. And if I'm going to be a realist, in my head, I was thinking, what's happened to anybody that's come out of The Voice? Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
In a way of, have they had marketing? Have they had all this? And also, if I start turning around to some of these brands and going, because I was saying, can I come down to London for a rehearsal? Well, I've got a gig with a big band for, I don't know, Man United potentially in such and such. It's going to cost me a lot of money. Yeah. What's it gonna do for me that I wasn't already doing, other than put me on a television? Which, and I'm not saying I wasn't grateful, because I was, but I got to a point of thinking, I've got to be careful here, because I don't want to upset these companies. The point I'm getting to is, I did a gig with Man United in Los Angeles at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and I was singing, and then Will.i.am came to DJ after, and I was speaking to him on the wall outside of Beverly Hills Hotel. So it's a small world, even though I'd not gone through.
Did he remember? Did he remember you performing as well, Paul?
Yeah, I think so. I went up to him and I went, "How you doing?" He was like, "All right, yeah." And I had a little chat with him, and it was quite funny, because I said to him, have you not got a car? He went, "I only live up the hills. Just wait for my Uber." You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh!
So just
what a world!
Well, it's just the world, isn't it? But it's I've got a friend who lives in Los Angeles at the minute, and I've been to see him a few times, and I want to go again when I can get over there. But it's just interesting. I love it over there, because you just have to open your mouth and they're like, "Oh my God, where are you from?" Because you're not Southern. Crazy. They think you're from Australia.
I mean, you kind of get that in Manchester with the Stars of Coronation Street. Oh, look! It's him! Oh, it's him! Yeah.
Well, I'm a bit different. I play for a great charity called Once Upon a Smile. I play with some of the guys who are in Emmerdale and that from there, and absolutely great guys. And so you see some people when they arrive, they're like, we played a game not long ago, and we were in this tiny little dugout, and there's no way they could escape. So they sat there waiting to go on. He got somebody asking them questions. That side, somebody asking about the storyline. That side, somebody else popping the red round. That side can have an autograph. That side, I felt so sorry for. I mean, they were great. They're great. But you just think, every angle is like, they couldn't get, because they've got this little dugout, and they just sat like that.
It's because we feel we know them. You switch on to the TVs and they're in your room. I remember I went and did the red carpet for the British Soap Awards a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I was trying to keep kind of calm, but I felt like saying, "Oh, hiya, I know you." And then I thought, no, I don't know you. I just watch you on my television, and you feel like they're a part of your life because you've grown up with them and stuff like that.
I made that mistake in London about, oh my God, it must have been, I don't know, whenever The Big Breakfast was on. And I used to love Denise Van Outen. and you make that mistake of doing an event and seeing them in the audience and going to talk to them afterwards, and then realizing that, hang on a minute, you might get a different response to what you expect, because you'd expect them to be like that, you know, and they're on a night out in, you know, so she was dead nice, but you know, you
Was
think,
she?
oh my God. Yeah, she was lovely. Yeah, really nice.
I'd like her to be nice. Anyway, not only do you do swing, you do your own stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to Fly. You released an EP. Was it not last year, the year before?
Yeah, I did it in the middle of the pandemic, which is, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've not actually done an album, a launch. I've not actually done a launch. I basically did this with a great friend of mine called Steve Edwards, who wrote a massive hit in the 90s called World Hold On. And it was like, it had a great
I know that one.
Yeah, and he toured the world with it. And I was doing a gig somewhere in Sheffield. I did something with a producer a long time ago, and I learned lessons and things like that, and decided to get myself right live, go and get on the road, learn my craft. And he was at an event, and he said, look, let's work on some stuff. And he told me he'd done that song. And I'm like, what? And you're from Sheffield? I don't believe you. And he was such a nice, modest guy. And we got together and we started writing. I co-wrote 2 of the songs, and he just kept coming up with songs. What do you think of that? I was like, I really like that. So then we put that down. And it's sort of the part of a plan, really, because what I'd like to do is potentially do a project, a big band project. So the show Swings the 21st Century thing also has other spin-offs as well as that, and one of them's an album. But I'm reluctant to do an album until I know what I'm doing. I don't want to do something that everybody would potentially do. Not do, but I don't want to do. I've got you under my skin, or not that I don't love them, because I mean, what's great about these shows is I've got new arrangements of I've got you under my skin. So at Tatton Park, it's a brand new arrangement, you know, so people won't have heard that version of it before.
Oh, well, do you know what? We are looking forward to your gigs that are coming up. So whether you're in Blackpool, you can see 21st Century Swing, but a little bit closer to home and my field is the Tatton Park Pop-Up Festival, and that is this Sunday. Are you excited?
I am excited. I'm a little bit sort of feel like I'm wasting the week, and I'm going to get to Friday and go, oh my God, I've got to do that. I went out the other day. I couldn't find a jacket, so I bought a new jacket from Polo. And yeah, I know. So I've got myself kitted out a little bit. I've got back today, and I mentioned earlier my laptop's broke. So God knows what I'm going to do about that. So that's my job tonight and probably tomorrow. And before I've got Saturday in Blackpool and Sunday at Tatton, I've actually got an event on Friday. And the one at Friday is so small in comparison, but that's the one that I've got all the trouble with the laptop. I don't need any of that for those 2 gigs, but I need everything for the Friday night. And I'm just like,
well, I've got my fingers crossed. It'll be fine. I know technology. You know what? On show number 2, the Wi-Fi crashed for us, and it's just like, what do you do? Yeah. But it'll be fine. You've got a big band as well at the weekend. So Blackpool Saturday night, Sunday Tatton Park Pop-Up Festival, which I absolutely love. It's a great atmosphere down there. It's brilliant if you can go and see it. And thank you very much, Paul, for being in the house with us tonight.
Thanks for having me. No, lovely, really nice.
We've got your music playing us out as well.
Oh, lovely.
It's going to be Assassin.
Raining here.
Assassin is going to be fantastic at the end of the show. It's from a little gig we did back together. I think it was the big night in for Prevent Breast Cancer. Yeah. So that'll be fantastic. All right, I shall let you go and try and fix your laptop.
Yeah, thanks very much. See you soon.
All right, I'll see you later, Paul. Take care.